If you're a Texas A&M alum, this video is going to be pretty special to you. Please watch closely. A&M is an iconic school. If you're an Aggie, you know that. It's practically in your blood. You know how it goes. You hear those first few lines of the war hymn, and you feel the pride beginning to stir. Because we are the boys who show the real old fight. Our great school has a long and storied history. It was founded in 1871 and was the first higher education institution in Texas. Throughout history, our legendary school has become proud to fight for what's right. During the First World War, 49% of A&M grads were enlisted in the service. And in 1918, the entire senior class fought the Germans in France. In fact, the words to the war hymn itself were written right there and then. J.V. Pinky Wilson, a member of that class, wrote the whole thing while hunkered down in a trench in France while fighting the Germans. It doesn't stop there either. In World War II, there were more than 20,000 combat troops from A&M, and we contributed more officers to the war than the United States Military Academy and Naval Academy combined. Something else notable, 7 Aggies received the Medal of Honor during World War II, and you know they don't give that out lightly. So you might say that the bravery, the fighting spirit, that's in the Aggie blood. It's your DNA. And it's kind of appropriate that A&M is based in Texas, because there are definitely some parallels in Texas history too. Texas, like A&M, was built with blood, sweat, and tears by brave men who were not afraid to stand up for the things that were important to them. In 1836, it was the Battle of the Alamo. The dictator Santa Anna was trying to reclaim Texas and drive away the American settlers, but the Texans had other ideas. With less than 200 troops, the brave Texan forces were vastly outnumbered that day, going up against more than 5,000 of Santa Anna's best forces. Those brave Texans sacrificed their lives to protect their liberty, their way of life, and their flag. But they fought so fiercely, more than 600 of Santa Anna's elite forces were defeated. A few weeks later, though, the tide turned at the Battle of San Jacinto. In just 18 minutes and with only 39 casualties, the Texans defeated over 1,300 of Santa Anna's elite troops and captured Santa Anna himself. That is the battle that secured Texan independence from Mexico, and that's what makes Texas the great state that it is today. Of course, there were more battles than that during the Texas Revolution. It all started at Gonzales, where the Texans defended their rights under the famous "Come and Take It" banner. Bloody, hard-fought battles, Texans fighting to keep their independence, fighting for what's theirs, and Texans won most of them, and indeed the war. Now, other than the bravery and the deep tradition, both Texas and A&M have something in common. And I'm not just talking about Aggies being the keepers of the spirit. I'm talking about battle flags. Flags have been significant on the battlefield throughout history. For centuries, soldiers have revered the flags of their regiment. It was not uncommon for a soldier to die defending his flag, doing everything he could with his last breath to stop it from falling into enemy hands. Why? Pride was one part of it, being proud to serve those you love. But there's another side that most people don't realize. You see, in fierce, bloody battles throughout history, flags were used to give commands and visual orders during a battle. With all the gunfire, yelling, and general chaos of a pitched battle, verbal orders or bugles being sounded were often misunderstood or not received at all. The chant of "Follow the flag" was pretty common. Without the flag, it was tough for soldiers to keep together in a cohesive unit in all the smoke and noise and confusion. And it goes a little deeper than that too. Historically, military units and regiments were organized by their home state, so their flags took on a special meaning. When they were defending their flag, they believed they were fighting for the people they loved back home, for themselves, for their entire way of life. So they protected the flag at all cost. If you think about it, the flag isn't really even a flag. It's a talisman. It represents everything they value in life. It's way more than some fabric tied to a length of wood. And it's the same with A&M. On the battlefield, the flag served to direct the troops, keep the morale up, and to remind them what they were fighting for. And in modern life, whether in business, your personal life, or on the football field, it's the same. The flag represents that same talisman. Those same reasons, it's just a different kind of battle. When the game's about to start, you hear the war hymn, you see the flags waving, and you're ready to vanquish your foes, stand shoulder to shoulder with your comrades, fight for the things you believe in. Now here's the thing, that Aggie spirit is so strong, so powerful, we decided to work with A&M to commemorate it with a special handcrafted flag. And I'm not just talking about any flag. We both know you could go online and buy a nylon or a polyester flag to represent your favorite team for just a few $100s. Great. But that's not what we have here at all. We're talking about a flag that's carefully handcrafted for weeks, with an artist's keen attention to detail and the legacy of history. And each flag is unique because of that handcrafting process. It's a one-off, made from unique fabric that is especially made for the specific purpose, just like those Texas battle flags from hundreds of years ago. And we make them that way for a reason. Because just like how those battle flags became a talisman that held such power that brave men were willing to die for them, these flags are talismans too, and they represent spirit, the history, and the Aggie traditions that mean so much to us all. For over 35 years at the Gallery of the Republic, we've specialized in handcrafted historic flags and vintage Texas maps and documents. Each flag is entirely handmade, created with the help of the Texas Archives and the United States Constitutional Commission. Only a handful of the original flags from hundreds of years ago still exist. Most were lost in battle, worn out, or destroyed by the ravages of time. Since there were no photographs from back then, these important designs have been recreated based on the eyewitness accounts, the journals, sketches, letters, and paintings of men and women who lived in that time. Each flag is individually handcrafted in our gallery in Dripping Springs, Texas, and is framed under a glass in a custom-designed shadow box frame to enhance visual richness. Burns, tears, frayed edges, and even musket ball holes have been painstakingly added one at a time, and the fabric itself has been especially loomed for this creation. Now let me ask you a question. Imagine this flag hanging in your den, or your boardroom, or in your office, or next to your TV as you sit down to watch the next game. Don't you think you may cheer a little louder, root a little harder? Of course you would. These traditions are buried deep within us. They're part of our Aggie spirit. And can you imagine what your buddies will say? Your friends and family will believe you have a priceless original keepsake. No doubt, some very tall tales have been spun by those lucky enough to own these. Believe me, they'll love it when they see it. What a conversation piece. Rest assured, you'll be the only one in your group who has one too. You see, these things are pretty rare. Each one is crafted by hand, and it takes hours upon hours to produce. They're not cranking them out in some factory in China. Each one is lovingly created from scratch in Dripping Springs, deep in the Texas Hill Country, just west of Austin, by our master artisan and his team. I'm not just telling you about the quality of these flags either. It's internationally recognized. The proud owners of these amazing treasures include several United States presidents, distinguished captains of industry, leaders in oil and gas, finance, noted lawyers and judges, writers and film producers including Ken Burns and Ron Howard, as well as celebrities ranging from Robert Duvall of Lonesome Dove to Coldplay and Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. These handcrafted treasures grace the walls of the Texas State Capitol building in the heart of Austin. George W. Bush has one in his home. They also hang proudly in the Commandant's office at the Marine Corps headquarters and numerous federal courts and state courthouses. So no, these are not just cheap polyester flags that are made in China and sold online for $200. These are individual works of art, each as unique as a fingerprint. Now, we need to talk about this flag in particular. In fact, these flags are such high quality, such a wanted item, that A&M gave us their official license and approval to create flags to commemorate the storied school. If you know anything at all about A&M and their traditions, you'll know how unusual that is. They've never approved licensing for anything like this in the past. But when they saw the quality of our flags, they wanted to help us make it happen. For the first time ever, we're making these flags, this flag in particular, available to the public. Each flag is handmade, unique, and we're only crafting 999 of them, so they'll forever be rare. It's hard to get these flags. People will usually pass them down from family member to family member. It's an heirloom in the making. Texas parents have put these historic emblems of our shared heritage in their children's bedrooms to instill a sense of Lone Star heritage. Other parents have sent these marvelous flags to their maturing students at prestigious universities to remind them of their deep Texas roots. If you think about it that way, how much do you think a flag like this may be worth? Each flag takes weeks to create, loving, caring hours put in by a master craftsman and his team. The materials for each flag alone cost hundreds of dollars. If you knew how much it costs to use the finest cottons in the world, you'd probably wince. Like the battle flags of old, this isn't a flag at all. It's a talisman. It's a representation of your spirit, of the history and the traditions of A&M, and your own sense of honor and belonging. And each flag comes with a one-off commemorative plaque, bespoke with your family name. On this date, commemorative flag number 474 of 999 is hereby presented to your family for doing their part in keeping the Aggie spirit alive. All hail to dear old Texas A&M. That good old Aggie spirit thrills us and makes us yell and yell and yell. Like I said before, each flag is unique and each plaque is numbered. We're only releasing 999 of these flags, so once they're gone, they're gone. So how much is a flag like this worth? Well, you've already seen the artisanal materials we use to create each one. You've seen how our expert artisans painstakingly create each masterpiece, using skills that took years to develop and even longer to perfect. You've seen how these near priceless pieces of art are displayed in the homes of celebrities, presidents, and even the state capitol building in Texas. You've seen how much a battle flag like this means to the people on the battlefield. They'd literally give their lives to protect it, and many have. And you've probably felt your own stirrings of pride as you watched this video and saw the flag and how it's made. So it seems pretty obvious that this isn't the usual run-of-the-mill nylon or polyester flags that some people have outside their homes, right? Of course it's not. Each of these flags is unique. It's a talisman, a piece of history that belongs solely to you. Many have chosen to use these iconic treasures as notable gifts for public and business presentations to recognize significant achievements in a variety of fields. They are proudly displayed in boardrooms, executive offices, and fine homes across Texas and around the world. At the request of clients, these handcrafted flags have been sent to distinguished individuals and businesses in Dubai, London, Rajasthan, Hong Kong, Paris, Germany, and Botswana, among others. So you're not buying a flag, you're buying a symbol of A&M, of those traditions, of all the things that mean so much to every Aggie on this planet. While you may think that something of this degree of craftsmanship and value will cost you thousands of dollars, you'd be wrong. Yes, it's worth every penny of that and more, especially when you consider what a conversation piece it's going to be when it's displayed in your office, place of business, man cave, on your ranch. So imagine the sense of pride you'll feel as you see that flag before every game. But it really won't cost you that much. The price for these amazing talismans is just $13.97, less than you'd spend if you went to 3 or 4 games this season. And you get to have the thrill of those games right there in your own home. And there's something else you'll want to know. For every flag, hundreds of your dollars go directly back to A&M. When you invest in one of these heirloom flags, you're directly contributing to the school you love and personally preserving that fighting spirit for future generations. So listen, let's get down to brass tacks. Right now, you have 2 options. It's basically win or go home. If you choose to go home, you can close this page right now and forget you ever saw it. Hey, maybe you're more comfortable wearing burnt orange, huh? The other option, though, is to get one of these flags for yourself or a loved one and to win, to push through and strive for the things you want, to show the world you're proud to be an Aggie and that you'll fight for our flag. And that's the option you're looking at right now. All you need to do to claim your flag is to click the button below and fill out your details on the next page. Oh, and it probably wouldn't hurt to cross your fingers either. Why do you need to cross your fingers? Well, there's only 999 of these flags, and this page is being viewed by hundreds of Aggies just like you every day. If you do the math, you'll work out that they're not going to be around much longer. They're being snapped up even as you watch this. So yes, cross your fingers. There's also another reason why you'll want to act quickly. You see, I'm protecting you with a 60-day money-back guarantee. That gives you the chance to get the framed flag home, mount it, hang it up, display it proudly to look at. Get used to it being around, and then decide if you want to keep it. You've got 60 whole days, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason at all, just let us know. Send it back, and we'll refund every red cent. No questions asked. See that button below this video? Hit that right now, and you'll be taken to our completely secure order page to place your order. Do it now while we still have some in stock. Once they sell out, we're not making any more.